Did you know that simple daily habits might be cutting years off your life without you realizing it? Today, I'm revealing 6 hidden mistakes most seniors make that prevent them from reaching 85, and the scientifically proven ways to fix each one starting today. Mistake number 4 is particularly shocking. Research from Johns Hopkins found that 78% of seniors unknowingly do this every day, yet fixing it could add up to 7 years to your life expectancy. These aren't complicated lifestyle overhauls requiring major changes. They're subtle adjustments that can dramatically impact your longevity. Last month, I met Richard, a vibrant 87-year-old who was outliving all his friends. When his doctor analyzed his lifestyle, they discovered he had accidentally avoided all 6 mistakes we're discussing today, while his peers were making at least 4 of them daily. Richard wasn't born with special genes or extraordinary health. He simply avoided these common pitfalls that silently reduce lifespan. His story convinced me that understanding these hidden mistakes could help thousands of seniors live longer, healthier lives. Mistake 1. Silent dehydration. Why are 76% of seniors chronically dehydrated without realizing it? Research from the Mayo Clinic reveals that thirst perception naturally decreases with age, leading to silent dehydration that stresses vital organs and accelerates cellular aging. This isn't about feeling thirsty. By the time that sensation registers, you're already significantly dehydrated. The problem becomes especially concerning after age 60, when kidney function naturally declines and the body's water-conserving abilities diminish. Most seniors simply don't recognize they're operating with insufficient hydration day after day, creating a state of chronic stress on multiple body systems. Chronic mild dehydration forces your heart to work harder, increases inflammation, and impairs kidney function, creating a cascade of health issues that can reduce lifespan by 4 to 7 years. When your blood volume decreases due to inadequate fluid intake, your heart must pump faster and with greater force to deliver oxygen and nutrients throughout your body. This increased cardiac workload contributes to hypertension and cardiovascular strain. Meanwhile, your kidneys struggle to filter waste products from more concentrated blood, accelerating their functional decline. Studies from Tufts University Medical Center show that even mild chronic dehydration increases the risk of urinary tract infections, kidney stones, and cognitive impairment, all conditions that can trigger serious health deterioration in seniors. Drink 1 full glass of water before each meal and keep a visible water bottle within arm's reach at all times with measurement markings. This simple practice ensures you consume water throughout the day without relying on thirst signals that may no longer function properly. Use a container with clear markings to track your intake, aiming for at least 48 times 64 ounces daily unless you have specific medical restrictions. Consider setting a simple timer or phone reminder every 2 hours as a hydration prompt. Add slices of fruit, cucumber, or a splash of juice if you find plain water unappealing. Begin each morning with a full glass of water before coffee or tea, as caffeinated beverages can actually increase your hydration needs. Martha, 84, reversed her chronic fatigue and improved her kidney function simply by setting hourly water reminders on her phone for 3 months. She had dismissed her persistent afternoon fatigue as normal aging until her doctor identified chronic dehydration as the likely culprit. Your organs need proper hydration today, not next week or next month, to begin repairing the damage. Each day of continued dehydration compounds the stress on your cardiovascular and renal systems, accelerating their decline in ways that become increasingly difficult to reverse. Mistake 2. Isolation without awareness. Could your social habits be as dangerous as smoking? Harvard Medical School research shows that social isolation increases mortality risk by 29%, comparable to smoking 15 cigarettes daily. Yet most seniors don't recognize their diminishing social connections. This isn't merely about loneliness or emotional well-being. It's about fundamental physiological processes that directly impact cellular health and longevity. The gradual reduction in meaningful social interactions often happens so incrementally that many seniors don't recognize how isolated they've become until the health consequences are already manifesting. Research published in the Proceedings of the National Academy of Sciences demonstrates that social isolation triggers inflammatory responses indistinguishable from those caused by physical threats or injuries. Social isolation triggers inflammatory responses and stress hormones that accelerate cardiovascular decline, cognitive impairment, and immune system weakening. When you lack regular, meaningful human connection, your body remains in a subtle but persistent state of stress, releasing cortisol and other hormones that damage blood vessels, impair glucose regulation, and suppress immune function. Brain imaging studies from Rush University Medical Center show that socially isolated seniors experience accelerated atrophy in regions critical for memory and cognition. This creates a dangerous cycle. Increased isolation leads to cognitive decline, which further reduces social capability, accelerating both problems simultaneously. The isolation-inflammation connection explains why seniors with strong social networks consistently demonstrate better recovery from illness and surgery. Schedule at least 3 15-minute meaningful social interactions weekly, whether in person, video calls, or even phone conversations focused on deeper topics. The key is quality and consistency rather than duration or group size. Join a community organization aligned with your interests, whether it's a book club, faith community, volunteer group, or fitness class specifically for seniors. Prioritize depth in conversations by asking open-ended questions and sharing more than surface-level information. Consider multi-generational interactions, which research shows provide unique benefits, perhaps volunteering at a school or youth organization. If mobility issues limit your options, explore technology-assisted connections through video calls or online communities designed for seniors. William, at 82, joined a twice-weekly community breakfast group and saw measurable improvements in blood pressure and cognitive testing within just 2 months. His doctor had been concerned about his increasing blood pressure and declining memory scores. But medication adjustments weren't producing the expected results. Your body and brain need social nourishment immediately. Make your first social appointment today. Each week of continued isolation maintains the inflammatory cascade that damages multiple body systems, creating cumulative effects that become increasingly difficult to reverse as they progress. Mistake 3. Protein deficiency after 60. Most seniors are dangerously protein deficient without knowing it. According to research from Tufts University, adults over 65 need 1.2 grams of protein per kilogram of body weight daily, nearly 50% more than younger adults, yet 92% consume far less. This increased protein requirement occurs precisely when appetite often diminishes and dietary habits typically shift toward more convenient, carbohydrate-heavy foods. The discrepancy creates a perfect storm for accelerated muscle loss, known medically as sarcopenia. Most concerning is that this deficiency rarely produces obvious immediate symptoms, allowing the damage to progress silently for years, while seniors attribute their declining strength and energy to normal aging. Insufficient protein accelerates muscle loss, sarcopenia, weakens your immune system, and impairs organ function, creating a rapid health decline that most attribute simply to getting older. When protein intake falls below the threshold needed for maintenance, your body begins catabolizing, breaking down, existing muscle tissue to access the amino acids required for critical functions. This muscle loss reduces metabolism, decreases functional strength, and impairs glucose regulation, all factors that shorten lifespan. Research from the American Journal of Clinical Nutrition shows that seniors with low protein intake experience 40% more fractures and take 33% longer to recover from illness and injury than those meeting protein requirements. The immune system particularly suffers, as antibodies and immune cells require protein for production and function. Include a palm-sized portion of protein with every meal: eggs, Greek yogurt, lean meats, fish, tofu, or legumes combined with whole grains. This visual sizing method ensures adequate intake without requiring precise measurements. Prioritize protein at breakfast. When most seniors consume primarily carbohydrates, try eggs, Greek yogurt, or adding protein powder to oatmeal. Consider protein-rich snacks between meals: a handful of nuts, a hard-boiled egg, or cottage cheese with fruit. If chewing difficulties limit your meat consumption, incorporate more dairy, bean soups, smoothies with protein powder, or ground meat in casseroles. Remember that plant proteins are generally less bioavailable for seniors, so vegetarians should increase portion sizes accordingly. Susan, 79, doubled her protein intake using simple food swaps and regained strength she thought was permanently lost, allowing her to resume gardening within just 6 weeks. She had assumed her increasing weakness was inevitable with age, until her nutritionist identified severe protein deficiency as the primary cause. Your muscles are breaking down today due to protein deficiency. Begin proper protein nourishment immediately. Every day of inadequate protein intake accelerates the loss of muscle mass that directly correlates with fall risk, hospitalization rates, and mortality in multiple studies tracking seniors over time. Mistake 4. Hidden vitamin D deficiency. Why do over 80% of seniors have dangerously low vitamin D levels? Johns Hopkins researchers found that severe vitamin D deficiency increases all-cause mortality by 57%, yet routine blood tests often miss this deficiency or dismiss it as borderline. This critical nutrient becomes increasingly difficult to obtain naturally as we age for multiple reasons. Our skin becomes less efficient at synthesizing vitamin D from sunlight. We typically spend less time outdoors. Kidney function declines, affecting vitamin D activation, and many seniors take medications that interfere with vitamin D metabolism. The problem is compounded by the fact that many standard laboratory ranges for normal vitamin D levels are set too low, according to research from the Vitamin D Council and several major medical centers. Low vitamin D impairs calcium absorption, accelerates bone loss, weakens immune function, and increases cancer risk, creating a perfect storm for shortened lifespan. The consequences extend far beyond bone health, affecting virtually every system in the body. Vitamin D receptors exist in most tissues, including the heart, brain, muscles, and immune cells, where they regulate hundreds of genes. Research from the University of California shows that insufficient vitamin D increases the risk of respiratory infections by 36% in seniors, while studies from Northwestern University demonstrate its role in maintaining muscle strength and coordination, critical factors for preventing falls that often trigger health decline. Most concerning, the National Cancer Institute has linked vitamin D deficiency to increased rates of colorectal, breast, and prostate cancers, all common in older adults. Get 15 minutes of direct sunlight on your arms and face before 10 a.m. Consume vitamin D-rich foods, fatty fish, egg yolks, fortified dairy, and ask your doctor to check your levels at your next visit. Morning sunlight provides the most benefit while minimizing UV damage risks, as UVB rays are less intense earlier in the day. If weather, mobility issues, or seasons limit your outdoor access, Position yourself near a sunny window for longer periods, though glass blocks some beneficial rays. Dietary sources alone rarely provide sufficient vitamin D, but can help supplement what you get from sunlight. Include salmon, mackerel, tuna, fortified milk, fortified orange juice, and eggs in your weekly menu. The most accurate assessment comes from a 25-hydroxyvitamin D blood test, which your healthcare provider can include in your next routine blood work. Robert, 83, discovered his severe vitamin D deficiency through testing and after addressing it, experienced improved balance, reduced joint pain, and fewer respiratory infections. His doctor had been treating his symptoms individually for years without identifying the underlying deficiency that was contributing to all of them. Your bones and immune system are weakening today from this deficiency. Begin correcting it immediately. Research from the Cleveland Clinic demonstrates that vitamin D status directly impacts how quickly age-related bone loss progresses and how effectively the immune system responds to threats, both critical factors determining whether you'll reach and thrive beyond age 85. Mistake 5. Poor sleep hygiene. Your nighttime habits may be silently stealing years from your life. The National Institute on Aging reports that poor sleep quality, even without diagnosed sleep disorders, increases mortality risk by 25% for seniors, yet most dismiss it as an inevitable part of aging. While certain sleep changes are normal with advancing age, including slightly earlier waking times and less time in deep sleep, chronic poor sleep quality is neither normal nor benign. Sleep fragmentation, frequent waking, difficulty falling asleep, and early morning awakening often result from modifiable habits rather than unchangeable aging processes. Most concerning is that many seniors have normalized their poor sleep, unaware that it's creating measurable physiological damage and accelerating aging across multiple systems. Disrupted sleep accelerates cognitive decline, weakens cardiovascular health, and compromises immune function, essentially aging your body faster every night. During quality sleep, your brain clears accumulated waste products, including beta amyloid, a protein associated with Alzheimer's disease. Researchers at the University of California, Berkeley found that just one night of poor sleep increases beta amyloid accumulation by up to 5% in brain regions critical for memory. Meanwhile, your cardiovascular system requires the blood pressure decrease that occurs during deep sleep for proper vessel maintenance and repair. Studies from the Mayo Clinic show that seniors averaging less than 6 hours of quality sleep have 27% higher rates of hypertension and 38% higher rates of heart failure than those consistently getting 7 to 8 hours. Create a consistent sleep schedule. Remove all electronics from your bedroom, keep the room cool, 65 and 68 degrees, and establish a 15-minute calming pre-sleep ritual without screens. Consistency is crucial. Go to bed and wake up at approximately the same times every day, including weekends, to stabilize your circadian rhythm. Electronic devices emit blue light that suppresses melatonin production and should be avoided for at least 1 hour before bedtime. If reading before sleep, use a physical book rather than an e-reader or tablet. The temperature recommendation is evidence-based. Research consistently shows that slightly cool rooms promote deeper sleep by supporting the natural drop in core body temperature that signals your brain to maintain sleep. Your pre-sleep ritual might include gentle stretching, meditation, listening to calming music, or reading something relaxing. The key is consistency in both timing and activities. Elizabeth, 81, implemented these sleep hygiene changes and saw her memory scores improve and blood pressure normalize within just 4 weeks. She had resigned herself to poor sleep and mounting health issues until her geriatrician explained the connection between her sleep habits and deteriorating health markers. Your brain and body are being damaged tonight by poor sleep patterns. Implement these changes before your next bedtime. Each night of disrupted sleep triggers inflammatory cascades and hormonal imbalances that contribute to insulin resistance, cognitive decline, and cardiovascular strain. All factors that can significantly reduce both lifespan and health span. Mistake 6. Hidden inflammation triggers. Which everyday foods are causing invisible inflammation that's aging you faster? Research from Stanford University's Longevity Center shows that certain common foods trigger inflammatory responses in seniors that accelerate cellular aging and organ deterioration even without obvious symptoms. This chronic low-grade inflammation, sometimes called inflammaging by researchers, creates cumulative damage that manifests as accelerated aging and increased disease susceptibility. What makes this particularly dangerous is its invisibility. Unlike acute inflammation that produces noticeable pain, redness, or swelling, this systemic inflammation operates below the threshold of awareness, silently damaging tissues throughout the body. Most concerning is that many foods marketed specifically to seniors are among the worst inflammation triggers. This silent inflammation damages blood vessels, joints, and brain tissue, creating a foundation for chronic disease and shortened lifespan that most seniors never connect to their diet. When inflammatory processes persist chronically, they create a self-perpetuating cycle of cellular damage and impaired repair mechanisms. Research from the Cleveland Clinic demonstrates that inflammatory dietary patterns accelerate atherosclerosis, hardening and narrowing of arteries, increase joint deterioration, and promote neuroinflammation linked to cognitive decline. Studies tracking inflammatory markers show that seniors with the highest levels have 2.6 times greater mortality over a 10-year period compared to those with the lowest levels. Most importantly, Harvard Medical School research confirms that dietary changes can reduce these inflammatory markers by up to 47% in just 6 weeks, eliminate or dramatically reduce refined carbohydrates, processed vegetable oils, artificial sweeteners, and ultra-processed foods while increasing colorful vegetables, berries, fatty fish, and olive oil. Focus particularly on reducing white bread, pasta, pastries, and other foods made with refined flour that trigger rapid blood sugar spikes and subsequent inflammatory responses. Replace corn, soybean, and vegetable oils with olive oil, avocado oil, or small amounts of butter. Avoid products containing artificial sweeteners, which research from Weizmann Institute of Science shows may disrupt gut microbiome health in ways that promote inflammation. Instead of ultra-processed convenience foods, prepare simple meals using whole ingredients, fresh vegetables, quality proteins, whole grains, and healthy fats. Add anti-inflammatory foods like turmeric, ginger, fatty fish, salmon, sardines, berries, and leafy greens to your daily menu. James, 78, eliminated just 3 inflammatory foods from his diet and saw his joint pain decrease and energy levels increase substantially within just 3 weeks. He had been managing escalating joint pain for years, unaware that certain regular foods in his diet were fueling the inflammation causing his discomfort. Your cells are experiencing inflammatory damage with every meal. Begin making these simple food swaps today. Research from the Buck Institute for Research on Aging shows that inflammatory dietary patterns accelerate cellular senescence, the aging and dysfunction of cells, creating cumulative damage that becomes increasingly difficult to reverse the longer these patterns continue. These 6 hidden mistakes: chronic dehydration, social isolation, protein deficiency, vitamin D deficiency, poor sleep hygiene, and inflammatory foods, may seem minor individually, but together they create a perfect storm that can significantly reduce lifespan. The good news is that each mistake has a simple, practical solution you can implement immediately without expensive supplements or complicated regimens. Many seniors see measurable improvements in energy, cognitive function, and overall health within just weeks of addressing these issues. Which of these 6 mistakes surprised you the most? Let me know in the comments which one you'll start addressing today. If you found this information valuable, please hit the like button and subscribe for more science-backed longevity strategies. Share this video with someone you care about. These simple corrections could add quality years to their life.